I want to get to this because, to me, this is a scandal. Everybody's been ranting. Oh, the Republicans have been ranting about election fraud. And some progressive outlets have been talking about, like, basically cheering them on with this bull. There is election fraud. It happened in 2016 against Bernie Sanders, and it happened in 2020 against Bernie Sanders. Did you see this Iowa caucus report? The autopsy of what went wrong? This report is literally an admission that the DNC, behind the scenes, was the mastermind behind this whole thing that deprived Bernie Sanders of a normal victory. It is incredibly, incredibly fraudulent and shady. And frankly, some people should probably be in jail for this. I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but I'll read you some of it. I found the fraud. It's not Trump and Biden. It's the Iowa caucus. Democratic National Committee meddling combined with missteps by the state party of Iowa were the primary drivers of the chaos that torpedoed the Iowa caucuses earlier this year, according to a new audit commissioned by the state party. The report, which was distributed to the state party at the meeting Saturday, identified a series of errors made by the DNC, the Iowa State Party, and the technology company Shadow. The February caucuses were overrun by foul-ups. The state party was unable to report a winner on caucus night. The mobile app to report results failed to work for many precinct chairs. The backup telephone systems were jammed, and some precincts had initial reporting errors. The state party chair, Troy Price, resigned in the wake of the debacle, which put Iowa's status as the first in the nation nominating contest in jeopardy. Good. Even if you're watching from Iowa, I'm sorry. Get rid of it. This caucus system has to go. But the report pins the blame squarely on the DNC. Who runs the DNC? Tom Perez. For the heart of the problem on caucus night, the delay in the reporting of the results. According to the report, the DNC demanded the technology company Shadow, which, oh, by the way, the developers and CEO were all Hillary Clinton campaign workers from 2016. Oh, by the way, Shadow was used by the Pete Buttigieg campaign. The DNC demanded that Shadow build a conversion tool just weeks before the caucuses to allow the DNC to have real-time access to the raw numbers because the National Party feared the app would miscalculate the results. The DNC's data system used a different database format than Shadow's reporting app, which caused multiple problems. Here we go. This is the key part here. According to the report, the DNC demanded the technology company Shadow build a conversion tool just weeks before the caucuses to allow the DNC to have real-time access to the raw numbers. Why would the DNC, which, by the way, folks, not to get into the weeds here, is a private company. DNC is a private company. Why should the DNC have the raw real-time numbers? Or let me put it differently. Why would the DNC want the raw real-time numbers of the Iowa caucus? Could you think of a reason why the DNC would want the real raw numbers for the Iowa caucus? I don't know. Bernie Sanders had raised more money than anybody ever. I don't know. Bernie was polling in the lead heading into Iowa before the Des Moines Register spiked that poll. The last poll the Des Moines Register stopped because Pete Buttigieg's campaign complained that one voter was called by the pollster and wasn't given Pete as a choice. Why should the DNC, a private company, it's not a governmental body, look it up, it's a private company, want real-time updates of the numbers? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I also have a brain, and I think common sense. They wanted the real-time numbers to know if Bernie was going to be victorious. So, and again, I'm a journalist. I don't have evidence that they did this. So they could they say the Russians sow chaos. No. The DNC wanted to sow chaos. And interestingly enough, let's look at the sequence. That Des Moines Register poll, first time ever, the Des Moines Register is the gold standard for polling ahead of the Iowa caucus. First time ever, they spiked the poll because one voter said, when the pollster called me, Pete wasn't given as a choice. I'm sure if one voter called and said Bernie wasn't given a choice, they would have spiked the poll, right? But the poll leaked. 538, Nate Silver's website. They got the poll. And what did it show before the Iowa caucus? Just days before the Iowa caucus. Bernie Sanders, in the poll that was leaked, that they shut down, was leading by 4 points heading into the Iowa caucus just days before. Pete Buttigieg was in a distant third place. Pete Buttigieg was in third place. Bernie was leading. So you're telling me the poll gets spiked. No, the DNC had nothing to do with that, I'm sure. Then 2 weeks before the caucus, the DNC, who, by the way, insisted that an app even be used. Why the hell did we need an app? Why wasn't the good old days of just calling in the results? There wasn't a problem until 2020. Why did we have to muck the waters with an app? Before, each caucus site just called in the results to the state party, no problem. The DNC, weeks before, tells the Shadow app, we want you to make a sub software. We want not just the app that distributes the results, but we want you to convert and make some type of software that will update us, give us the raw numbers in real time. You know who else gets raw numbers in real time for elections? The mafia. The mafia, in the good old days, used to get the raw numbers from polling sites. You know who else? Mexican drug cartels in Mexico that have rigged elections for decades. It's insane. The DNC shouldn't have the raw numbers. The DNC is supposed to be a neutral body. The audit states the conversion tool had coding errors that spit out inaccurate numbers and caused confusion about the accuracy of the results, eventually leading to delays in reporting. But the state's party's app never malfunctioned nor was hacked, the report concludes. So again, the state party app didn't have a problem and it wasn't hacked. It was this shadow app run by Hillary Clinton, 2016 campaign people, by the way. The shadow app, which, oh, by the way, Pete Buttigieg's campaign used as a vendor. When the DNC's database conversion tool failed to work correctly, it caused the DNC to wrongly stop the Iowa State Party from reporting its results, and the Iowa Party entire planned reporting process was thrown into disarray. The DNC's interjection was the catalyst for the resulting chaos in the boiler room and in the Iowa State Party's attempts to manually collect and confirm caucus results by hand. If the DNC had not interjected itself into the results reporting process based on its erroneous data conversion, caucus night could conceivably have proceeded according to the Iowa State Party's initial plan. Let's just get to the bottom of this right now, okay? What the Iowa State Party is saying, and by the way, I have two sources, because I was in Iowa covering this, thanks to you being a member, hint, hint, sign up, statuscoup.com/join. You know any other independent outlets that were in Iowa, that were in New Hampshire, that were in Nevada, that were in South Carolina, that were in California on Super Tuesday, that were in Michigan? We were there, all of them, on a shoestring budget, by the way, thanks to you signing up as a member for $5 a month. Hint, hint. This is not something that we should just gloss over, because there is going to be no progressive seizing power if we just allow elections to continually be rigged. Nobody can tell me that this was just some innocent thing. The DNC wanted the Shadow app to create a conversion tool to allow them to see the raw real-time numbers in real time for one reason and one reason only. They wanted to see if Bernie Sanders was going to win so that they could stop it. This isn't only my opinion. We know this to be true because there was reporting done that at the end, just to deprive Bernie of the victory, what Tom Perez was trying to do is there was satellite locations, if you recall. And these satellite locations were brand new in the Iowa caucus. And they were satellite locations, particularly in some areas, Latino areas, satellite locations, caucus locations. There were satellite locations with Somali Americans. There were satellite locations specifically for Muslims. There was satellite locations specifically out of the state of Iowa for people from Iowa that lived, or college students or whatever. And Bernie's campaign really focused on these satellite locations, specifically Muslims, Latinos, which is about 2 or 3% of Iowa, immigrants, and Bernie. The Intercept did a great report. I think they had a report in there. Bernie cleaned up. He cleaned up at these satellite locations. Tom Perez, at the last minute, was trying to change the way the satellite locations, their results, he was basically trying to weigh it down so that the satellite locations weren't measured in terms of the amount of votes that would go to Bernie equally to the normal caucus locations. What do you call that other than theft, fraud, rigging? Why is Tom Perez not in front of a judge? This is theft. Not only did Bernie Sanders win the first caucus round by 6,000 votes, not only did he win the second round by 2,000 votes. Not only did they not use this Shadow app to completely sow chaos, delay the results, but it changed the entire primary. Why? I was there. I could tell you why. When you are declared, traditionally, when you're declared the Iowa caucus winner, okay, that's hundreds of millions of dollars in TV airtime for 10 days. Or however many days between Iowa and the New Hampshire primary. You're declared the winner. Obama probably was president because he won the Iowa caucus and the huge bump he got after that. CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, everybody. They cover you, right? The local outlets in New Hampshire are covering who won in Iowa. So that voters in New Hampshire, which is coming after Iowa, usually in 7 to 10 days, they then see, oh, this person won Iowa. We're going to give that guy or gal a look. Pete Buttigieg, after falsely being declared the winner of the Iowa caucus because of this fraud, he went up 10 points in a week. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.